Fractions. Order fractions and decimals. To put numbers in order of size, you have to compare them. Here we have fractions and decimals. To compare like with like, they need to be in the same format. We could convert them all into decimals. 3/4 is the same as 0.75 and 1/2 is the same as 0.5. We could now compare them, or we could convert them all to fractions. 0.25 is 1/4 and 0.1 is 1/10. But to be able to convert fractions, they all need to be in the same denominator. We could look at hundreds. 0.75 is 75 divided by 100, and 0.25 is 25 hundredths. 0.5 is 50 hundredths, and 0.1 is 10 hundredths. Now we could compare them. Put the following in order from smallest to biggest. Again, we have fractions and decimals. Let's convert the fractions to decimals this time. Remember, when converting fractions to decimals, we need to ensure they're in base 10. 6/10 is the same as 0.6, and 5/10 is the same as 0.5. They're in base 10. What about 4/5? We need to convert it to tenths, so we'll multiply both the top and the bottom by 2. 4 times 2 is 8 and 5 times 2 is 10. Now we have 8/10 or 0.8 as a decimal. Now we can compare them. The smallest is 0.2, the next is 0.5, but we must remember to use the numbers in the question, so it's 5/10. Then it's 6/10 or 0.6. Then it's 0.7, and finally the biggest is 0.8 or 4/5. Put the following in order from biggest to smallest. Again, we have decimals and fractions. As the given fractions all have denominators of 10, let's convert the decimals to fractions. 0.4 is the same as 4/10, and 0.6 is 6/10. Now they all have the same denominators, so we can just look at the numerators. The biggest is 7/10, then 6/10, again we put 0.6, then 4/10 or 0.4, then 3/10, and the smallest is 1/10. Double check you've read the question carefully. Biggest to smallest. Yes, that's right. Follow the same steps no matter how big the numbers are. Put the following in order from smallest to biggest. We have decimals and fractions. Let's convert the fractions to decimals. So 8/10 is the same as 0.8. 12 hundredths is 0.12. Then we've got 7/50ths. To make it into hundredths, we need to multiply the top and the bottom by 2. So 7 times 2 is 14, 50 times 2 is 100. 14 hundredths is 0.14. Now we can compare them. The smallest is 0.12 or 12 hundredths. The next is 0.14, or we write the same number as in the question, 7/50ths. Then we have 0.5, then we have 0.71, and the biggest is 0.8 or 8/10 as we've got in the question. Remember, to put numbers in order of size, you have to compare them. To compare like with like, the numbers need to be in the same format. When comparing fractions, they should have the same denominator. When converting fractions to decimals, first ensure that they are in base 10. Use the number given in the question in your answer. And double check you've read the question. Is it biggest to smallest or smallest to biggest?